Hey there, in this video I'm going to show you this little technique that I use on my keyboard in my little competitions and other mixes that keep me winning always. My name is K-Sam as always, and others call me Dr. Scratch. I'm always your host, and let's take a look.
Run the record. Run
Alright, so I hope it's nice for you if you're really a keyboard controller, like a keyboard user, and you can't afford a controller for this time you're using a keyboard as your controller. This is the way we go. We're trying to discover things that really work perfectly, like professional controllers, other CDJs and so on can do. So in this one here, I'm going to show you the mappings that I'm using. There are only two that are really going to help you apply the same trick here. And also with a lot of practice, you can be more than me. You can be far much better than me in this one here. So I hope you really do it. But before I really show you the mappings, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe, because we really have these little tricks coming your way always. So let's take a look. Alright, so I'm going to go to the configuration and I'm going to come to mappings. I'm going to go back to my keyboard because I'm currently connected to this controller here, but we're using the keyboard. So I have two mappings like I said before, and the first one that is very important is the one that is controlling the crossfader. So I have this one which says the crossfader is 90% while pressed. That means while I press a button, the crossfader should be at 90%. This is not anything new. And then the second one, which is also very important, is this one here of the escape key. It says hold on while pressed and go to Q and play. So that means I'm going to hold the jog for scratching only if I'm pressing it. Right? Only if I'm pressing that button and go to Q and I'll play. That is just it. So I'm going to put this on my Telegram channel, and the link is going to be in the description of this video. But also this is just something pretty simple that you can type right away. Let's save the mappings and then go away. Alright, so before we really demonstrate if this really works, there are a few things you should keep in mind. The first thing that is very important, and that is going to only make this work at 90% of the crossfader, is the crossfader curve, right? So we're going to go back to the configurations and we're going to come to options. Up here you will type curve. Right, so the crossfader curve pops up here. I'm already set to scratch, but if you're not, maybe you're in full, you'll just come down to this drop down arrow here and then change it from maybe full or smooth, change it back to scratch. So what this simply means is that it's only going to make you be able to listen to this song which you are scratching, even if the crossfader is only at 99% here, right? Even if it's all the way to the right and it's only a few percentage left, you can still be able to scratch perfectly. Maybe you'll watch any other video on the crossfader curve on YouTube and understand this better, but that is it. The second thing you should keep in mind is I have my hot cues set. Now we're going to be scratching on this sound here.
Run the record.
So that is the sound we're going to be scratching, just that bit of the sound. And on this sound, that is on the very parts that I want to scratch, I have my cue points set. Right, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, which you can see up here. Right, so those are the three things that are very important. That means the cue points here, I can scratch at one cue point and then pop to the next one and scratch along there, and etc. until maybe the fifth one I can let the song play. So we have this here. Or maybe an additional mapping you should have is that the one that will play and at the same time bring the crossfader back to 50% if you want to continue playing the song. But for the case of scratching only, we're going to end here. So to make sure it's working, let's try if the crossfader is working. Yeah, there it's perfect. So I'm only going to be scratching always on deck A. That's why I've decided to pull it all the way up. That means if you wanted to scratch on deck B, you should like set it to maybe around 10% here, and then pull it all the way there, and then try if it's really going to work for you. So that is it. Now I have a few patterns that I've developed on my own. These are not really any professional styles of scratches, but these are patterns that you can really develop on your own. You can also develop your own styles and be better than me on this one here, but then I'm going to show you a few styles that are going to be here. So let's take a look. Alright, so talking about patterns, we already have the crossfader working like we demonstrated before, and we also want to make sure the first escape key is also working. This is it. Right, so in any other normal scratch, maybe if you're using a keyboard, somehow you will want to let it go, like you want to scratch forward, and then when you're scratching backward, you chop off the scratch using the crossfader, right? So at this point here, you want to make sure if you're scratching forward, we shall assume maybe you're holding, right? Like this. So when you're holding, you have to make sure the crossfader is at 90%. And then if you're releasing, you let it go. Releasing here would mean maybe we imagine we are scratching backwards like this. All right, so we are chopping this off, right? So talking about patterns, the first thing we're doing here is that we are pressing these two buttons at the same time to make that chop. Maybe it's not very perfect, but you're going to be quick at this. So make sure you press them together and release them together. The next thing I want to show you is that you can really press all of them together 2 times, and then the third time you only press for the crossfader, right? Press both buttons 2 times, and then the third time you press only the crossfader. It should be able to give you some sound like this one here.
Run the record.
Alright, so there we said you press all of them together 2 times, and then the third time you only press the crossfader. The next one here is that you would want to maybe press them together once, and then the remaining 2 times you press the crossfader only, right? Press them together 1 time, and then the remaining 2 times you press only the crossfader. It should sound like this one here.
Run the record.
Alright, so we so far have 3 things to do. The first time we are pressing all of them together to chop off with the crossfader, but press all of them together and release. In the second pattern, we were pressing them together 2 times, and then 1 last time we press the crossfader only. And then the third time we are pressing all of them together only 1 time, and then the remaining 2 times we press only the crossfader. Now you can really be able to play with these 3 patterns, like mix them up and so on to have a freestyle kind of scratch. Maybe let's try it out. Alright, so there's a lot other patterns that I really do at my freestyling. I can't only make this video longer by trying to explain all of them here, but I really want you to try challenge yourself and then develop something on your own that is going to be your own styles, your own patterns. But this is going to sound like a scratch for sure. Let's talk about it on the keyboard. It's almost impossible to scratch like a controller, but we're just trying out some new discoveries, maybe until we get there someday.
We don't know what we're talking about here, if it's going to happen.
But trust me on this one, you're going to like it. Let's stop it there. Alright, so those are some of the things that I wanted to tell you about this little trick here. If you really practice it a lot, it's going to be perfect for you and you're going to really enjoy it. If this is something you really like, please give me a thumbs up for this one here. And if you watched for the first time in my channel ever, make sure you subscribe. And if there's anything you feel is lacking or anything you want me to correct about this video or any other request you want to make, please make sure to comment down below. I'll be there to reply you always. And also please join the discussion on our WhatsApp group. We have Telegram, wherever you can find maybe DJ resources and etc. So see you there if you open my other videos. Peace out.